Welcome. Welcome everyone to stress management. Woohoo! We were just talking about we're already getting ready to enter into, in about 2 weeks, into the second quarter of the year. How's everybody doing? You can give me a virtual thumbs up, a real life thumbs up. Yay! Spring is springing. Everybody, even though we lost a whole hour of sleep, I hope that everyone is adjusting just fine. So if you don't know who we are Missouri Training Institute, and my name's Ray. And probably the most important thing to know, if you don't already know, is I love my job. I love my job, and I've been doing this for about 12 years. However, my background isn't always been in training and consulting. I've been a school teacher, high school, loved that. I was in management at a bank in Columbia for about 12, 15 years. I took a little time off trying to be a great stay-at-home mom, needed a little bit more grown-up interaction, and was lucky enough to come back and resume my work at the bank. So spent a lot of those years in management and loved that. But Missouri Training Institute just allowed me to marry those two passions, my passion for management and my passion for education. And I can't imagine doing anything else. So love it. You see my colleagues there. That's Dewey. He's our director. And funny story if you don't know, but I used to be his boss at the bank. And we've got a great relationship. And my other colleague, Brianna, and she is our business trainer and consultant. She's also everything graphic design and creative that you see Missouri Training Institute doing. She's the one who brings it to you and makes the magic happen. So extremely talented, extremely talented. Well, it is Tuesday morning. It's March 15th, I believe. And we're going to start our session on stress management with a test. So how's that for raising your stress level? So anyway, I'm going to give you a test, and what I'm going to show you is a photo. And the idea behind this is if you see very different images, there's going to be some pictures involved here. And if the images that come up on your screen are different, then yeah, you are definitely stressed. All right, are you ready? There you go. There you go. So how stressed are you? All right, how stressed are you? So let me see in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, yeah, I'm chill, Ray, totally chill. 10 being, hair on fire, stressed out. I see very different pictures here. Where are you? When you think about your life and what's going on with you right now, think about your whole self, work life, professional life, and that could be the committees you're on, any of those things. Also your personal life, what's going on? Courtney just talked about her baby, and also having kind of a middle-aged toddler going on. So, I'm seeing some 2s. That's good. Your stress level's low. All right. And I've got a 4. Wonderful. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like totally wigged out, hair on fire. Courtney's at a 6. So we're kind of mid-level. All right. Hi, Patsy. Hey, that's my group from Chicago right there. All right. Tina's middle. All right. Got some 5s. Nicole's a 5. Okay. Excellent. So not too high on the Richter scale there. I'm going to tell you, if you're managing people, or if you work around a lot of people, this is a great question to be asking. Debbie's got maybe a 7, LOL. All right, I'm not sure what the LOL means, like maybe today, maybe just right after she heard the word test. Definitely, this is a good place to check in. Just every once in a while, run a little body audit. Where are you on that stress meter, right? Where are the people around you, your family? Your coworkers, maybe the people that you manage. Just do a little scaling question. If you're having one-on-ones, Maybe ask your boss, right? Who gets to check in on them? Who's taking care of them? And just find out. And then if they are on that above the 5 scale, maybe ask what's going on, or what's causing you stress that maybe shouldn't be, right? It's a great opportunity to check in, and then let's find out where that stress is coming from. So when we think about stress, right? When we think about stress, what is stress, right? What is stress? Stress, several fun facts about stress. First of all, stress is your body's reaction to something that's going on in the environment, right? And when we are under a certain amount of stress, right, we could consider that your body's imbalance to something that's coming in and our inability to manage it or balance it, right? So we're running out of resources. And what we know about stress is that it's cumulative. So if we've got more things coming in and we're not able to expend that stress, then it's just going to keep compounding, right? So you might have a lot of little stressors, but those stressors can start adding up. And if we don't find a way to release that energy, then little stressors are going to compound, and then it becomes a big problem. All right. And so our body's inability to manage those stressors, that's when we see a big imbalance, right? And that's what stress really is. Now, here's the thing. Your body doesn't know the difference between a good stress and bad stress. So when we think about stress, most of us really think about it in a negative way, right? But I'm here to tell you, not all stress is bad, right? So there's actually 2 types of stress. There's a good stress called eustress. So in the chat, think about what types of stress we might call eustress, right? Good stress. Can you think of anything in our lives going on that we might consider good stress? What might be considered good stress in our lives? Anything? Okay, exercise. Excellent. Beautiful answer, Debbie. Absolutely. Excitement about a trip. Yes. A family gathering. Right. Jelaine, yes. Maybe if you're getting married, or everybody's excited about a new baby, a new granddaughter. Yes, a wedding. I just sold my house. That was exciting. Yes, it sold in one day. Now I've got to move. Right? So I'm excited about that. But when I get there and I face everything that I've got to pack, it might be a little bit overwhelming. All right. Yeah. Excitement about a program. Okay. Definitely, Patsy. You know, there is this level of build, right? And we might have this calm before the storm. So know that not every stressor is necessarily bad. And we actually can use that momentum to help us perform at an optimum level, right? Athletes do it. We do it. Patsy just talked about it. We've worked really hard on it. It helps us generate this excitement, this momentum, this energy source. However, if we don't get to expend it, then we can actually topple and it overwhelms us, and in which case it becomes distress, okay? And it can be too much. So when we think about stress, okay, when we think about this, it's kind of like radiation, right? We use radiation in a good way. Maybe it helps shrink those cancer cells, right? But we know too much radiation can actually cause harm, okay? or that distress if we let it go on too long. So let's think about, how do we treat that, right? What does it affect in our body? Our body, again, doesn't know the difference. It's going to release all the same, it's going to have all the same reactions, whether it's eustress or distress. So things that happen in our body, right? We have different responses, physiological responses, things that occur in our body. Well, what do we know? Certainly, we get a chemical reaction to stress, right? Our heart rate goes up, our heart starts pounding, blood starts beating, right? Blood starts surging, going to our large muscle groups in order for us to take action. We know this is our fight or flight, right? Oxygen is actually diverted from your brain in order to feed those large muscle groups for us to run or take that kind of action. We also know there's not only just a fight or flight, but now we also have a freeze response. Sometimes we just get paralyzed in the moment, don't we? I don't know what to do. We have our saliva dries up. Our digestive system gets really wonky. Yeah. So those are all physiological responses. Chemicals, cortisol is released. We actually call that our stress hormone. Endorphins, adrenaline, testosterone, all those things. And if they're we get a prolonged reaction, right? And that can cause really bad stuff like chronic heart, stroke, all of those things, irritable bowel, all of those things, right? A physiological response to stress. We have an emotional response. What can happen to us emotionally when we're in response to stress? Put that in the chat. What can happen? What have you seen happen? What's happened to you when you've become emotional when stress is too much? What's happened? Yes, we cry. Yeah, those stomach issues, those are going to be your physiological. We cry. Yes, laugh. Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, sometimes we don't know whether to laugh or cry. Definitely tears, anger. We might lash out, especially at those closest to us. We walk into the office, we're like, what? Right? We just kind of bark out orders. We forget to be human. Yeah. We overcome with those emotions. Certainly a headache, that's going to be a physiological response to stress, right? So we have a physiological response, things that are going on in our body, an emotional response. We think about all of the emotions that we have. Guess what? We also have a behavioral response. And Jennifer, you're right. We shut down. We might withdraw, right? We might turn to behaviors that are unhealthy. We stop talking to our friends. We might turn to, unhealthy things like alcohol or different substances to just kind of remove ourselves from a situation. We might overeat, right? We've heard of, people binging, it's been a stressful day, I just want my ice cream. Or we hear about comfort foods. Those are behavioral responses to stress. Some people, I love retail therapy, right? So we might get on Amazon. My friend loves the shopping network, right? Those are behavioral responses. So lots of things happen when we find ourselves under stress, okay? Under stress. So 3 big strategies. And again, the most important thing is figuring out and raising your awareness. Hey, I'm feeling stressed right now. So be aware what's going on physiologically, emotionally, and behaviorally. You've got to tune into you. Notice the signs, pay attention. And then are there some things that you can do to prevent the accumulation of more stress? Okay. 3 big strategies. One is avoid it. Not always the ideal situation, But, I kind of call this the mother-in-law strategy. Okay. Again, not always the best idea, but maybe it's a temporary solution. Temporary. How can I avoid the stressor? Maybe it just gives you a temporary solution to kind of regather your thoughts and avoid the stressor, the thing that might either add to or cause you more stress. Okay, so we have an avoidance strategy. Maybe we alter something. We can change our thinking. We can change our situation, right? We can remove something from our environment. So is there something that we can change that will help our situation? So we can alter what's going on in our environment, all right? But we've got to set limits, all right? So think about what is it that we could change or alter about our situation that would prevent either more stress or stress at all. There's also the strategy of acceptance. Wow, maybe we prepare ourselves and say, you know what, this is the situation that I'm in. How can I accept where I am at this point? All right. So sometimes it's just knowing, hey, you know what, this too shall pass, but this is where I am right now. So when I think about Courtney and her situation, I've got a 3-year-old, I've got a 4, 5, 6-month-year-old, right? This is where I am. It's wonderful being me, right? So we go through a period of acceptance. So again, you've got to be aware of what's going on. Which one of these is best for me in this situation? The beautiful thing is you control you. You control your thinking. You control your response too. However, you need to raise your level of consciousness to where you are in the moment. Okay? You get to choose, but you got to know that you're stressed. All right? Now, these are some little things that we're going to talk about. And the very last thing I'm going to ask you with minutes left is, what do you like to do? So you can be thinking. First is you've got to identify with specificity what is the stressor that's stressing you. You can't just say, oh, my job, right? That's big. What is it that's actually the stressor? Is it your workload? Is it a particular problem or a project that you don't know how to get started, right? Because once you identify it specifically, then you can maybe ask for help on how to get started. You can be very focused on your strategy related to that, right? Maybe you keep a stress journal. That also helps you identify, is it a particular time of day? Is it when you know you're hungry? Is it when you realize, you know what, it's when so-and-so walks in the office, right? So that helps you identify a particular stressor. Maybe you keep a stress journal, all right? Maybe you think about, what is it that I'm eating? How is it that I'm exercising or not exercising? We know certain foods are tied to those chemical imbalances in our bodies. So think about your diet, right? Too much salt, too much caffeine, not enough of A, B, C, D, and E vitamins, water soluble as well as fat soluble, right? Think about your diet. Think about your exercise. Exercising is a great way to release those bad chemicals and hormones, and actually to replace it with those positive ones, the oxytocin, the happy hormone, release the cortisol, the stress hormone. All right. And it doesn't take a whole lot. All right. Evaluate your sleep habits. One of the things that actually happens when you are stressed is it prevents sleep, right? If you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, you don't want to sleep, right? Because you need to get away, you need to fight, you need to run. So it blocks your ability to sleep, which is exactly something you actually do need to do. So evaluate your sleep habits. Try centering exercises the in the moment mindfulness. Share worries. Seek out a friend, share your experiences with them. Protect your me time, right? Set some boundaries, put it on your calendar. It's a big A agenda item. Just give yourself a little bit of space and grace right there. And what do you like to do, right? Put in the chat, what's your favorite go-to thing to just decompress in the moment? What's your favorite thing? I'll tell you mine is I like to turn up the radio loud enough to drown my own horrible singing voice out. All right, Julaine likes to walk. Wonderful. Oh, playing the piano, I wish. Word puzzles, walking, girl time. I get it. I love it. Mow the yard. Yes. Yes. Talk with friends, read the Kindle, yoga. Oh, I need that. I need that for my muscles. Oof, very nice. It goes along with centering. Yes, work in my flower garden, playing the piano, finding that thing that's just yours. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me for these 23 minutes. I took you over a little bit. I'll be here for any questions that you might have. This is recorded. We will upload it if you ever want to go back and remind yourself of some of these great strategies of avoid, alter, and accept. Always feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, any of our social media. Thank you for joining me. Go be great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.